All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another fun edition of the Eper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. How's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good. Freezing my keister off. We got the cold weathers. I got the kerosene heater on high. I wish to grab the propane heater and even lit my fireplace because she is getting chilly. But we'll press on. I'm shooting this video a little later than I want to. But it'll be good. It'll be good. What are we smoking? What are we drinking tonight? Of course, we're still doing the War Story series. So we have the War Fighter cigar. They're 5.56. Connecticut wrapper. Nice light cigar. Very tasty. For the beer tonight, we have Deer Camp. The Deer Camp beer. I had this one before. It's nice, not bad. I'm not sure if I really ever would have. Oh, and I got a fun Darth Vader, Mary Sithmas glass. Not sure if I would have taken this one out to deer camp, but what I remember, it's a pretty decent beer. Nice amber, good little head on it. Tell you what, that's drinkable right there. Ah, good stuff. So tonight, what war story should we have? Well, folks, I was going to continue on the tradition of trying to have the beer match the story. I was going to tell a fun little story about deer camp accidents and incidents and ambulance runs. It was all geared up, but I'm pretty sure, I know I did a war story special leading up to deer camp, talking about all the deer camp stories. And I know the one I was going to share about the time they forced us to drink a beer. I've shared before. So I'm going to go out of tradition here, not specifically go with a beer-themed war story. Instead, this was actually a request by a former student of mine. Former student, awesome lady. Loved working with her. I was really glad to see her excel through the program and even go on to go get her medic. I'm sure she's a great provider, serving her community proudly. But she requested that I tell a story that I told during ambulance driving class. As part of ambulance driving class, there's a lot of safety messages, a lot of stories about accidents and incidents, and since I've been in quite a few ambulance accidents, I had more than my fair share that I could share. There's one story, though, she messaged me and said, why don't you tell this one? It's one of my favorite. I said, hey, let's do it to it. Let's make this happen. So this one comes in. We're going over the ambulance, giving them the tour, showing them inside. And we were talking about running a call inside an ambulance. And I reminded them to not lean on any doors. They kind of gave me a puzzled look a little bit. I showed them the safe spots to stand and to sit. And ultimately, I told them what you really need to do is when you get into a rig, sit down, buckle up. And she gave me kind of, the students always give me a little bit of a weird look. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, let me tell you, because if you ever watch Hollywood movies, they're always leaning up against the doors and whatnot. It's kind of an instinctual thing to do. So here's what happened. We were called out. I believe it was an NVA, motor vehicle accident. It might have been a straight-up code. Regardless, critical call. Life and death situation. We roll up on scene, and yeah, sure enough. It is just this critical scene. We're working the patient. We're working the scene. We're getting information from fire who was there, from police who were there. And again, I don't remember exactly what was wrong with the person. I just remember that they're super critical. So critical, in fact, that I knew I needed a second pair of hands. And 4 hands probably wasn't enough. I probably needed 6 hands. So I remember correctly, I think I had a firefighter join me. I was going to jump in the back, and we had one of the law enforcement officers offer to drive the rig. Perfect. Had my EMT partner. I said, jump in the back. So we had the plan planned. We didn't have the patient in the back. I already picked out who was in the back. We're pre-gaming. I get in the rig actually once we get the patient packaged. Start prepping the ambulance. So if any of you guys have been in an ambulance call during a critical call, it is a special type of chaos. I've had partners and students and friends tell me who are vets tell me it's no dissimilar sometimes to combat. I mean, there's everything going on everywhere. You're doing the best you can with what you got. You're falling back on your training. You're doing one task and while you're moving on to another. Just a beautiful, beautiful dancing chaos. So anyhow, we get the patient in. I start working on him. The firefighter, I think, starts working on him. And I hear my partner yell, "Good to go." And the next thing I know, we're moving, and I hear the doors slam shut. Or I hear something slam, something bang, because I heard them shut. I heard my partner yell, "Good to go." Then there's a bang, and I look up, and my partner's not there. Like, okay, so I figured he must be driving. Like, he must have saw us, said "good to go," slammed the doors, jumped up front, and took off. Again, there's a lot going on. And I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, where did my part? I know I told him that the game plan was a firefighter and him in the back with me. But the first thing to go once the in combat or in an emergency is communications. Communications is the first thing to go to shit. Well, I'm doing my job. I'm kind of cursing my partner out underneath my breath when my radio crackles. Hey, Alpha One, what's up? We'll bring your partner to the hospital. We'll meet you there. What? So we get to the hospital. Patient is doing a little bit better. I just say that because, it's what you guys say. I don't honestly remember his condition. I'm trying to figure out what the hell does he mean? We're bringing, I figured, okay, well, maybe he forgot the officer was driving. He shut the doors, and the cop just took off because he heard "good to go." Get to the hospital. Everyone's cracking up. I know I've missed something. So I pull my partner aside. I said, "Hey, what the hell's going on? What happened?" He said what happened was he jumped up into the rig, slammed the doors, and said "good to go," and was not ready for when the police officer gunned it, dropped it into gear. He wasn't exactly holding on to the "oh shit" bar. He was actually leaning up against the doors that he had shut himself. And what happened was, and this does happen unfortunately with a lot of ambulance doors, they get corrosion, they get gunk, they get junk. Even though they were secured shut, the clamps on them failed. He fell at the back, and when he went to go grab for the doors, he actually ended up instinctively shutting them. So he slammed them shut. So I didn't know he fell at the back. The firefighter with me didn't know he fell at the back. We both kind of assumed that he slammed the doors. He yelled "good to go," slammed the doors, and then was going to go drive, and didn't know the officer. So we thought we just left him unseen. Lo and behold, he fell out the back of the ambulance. And he was courtesy enough to shut the doors on his way out. And I still poke fun at him when I see him, about how this happened. It was just hilarious. I mean, thank God he was all right. We were able to manage the patient with just two of us in the back. So, I mean, you do what you can with what you got, move on. But I still make fun of him. He was courtesy enough to shut the doors on his way out. Just that perfect storm of events. We did get the ambulance. We were checking it out after hearing the story, and sure enough, it took very little pressure on that door for that clamp to fail. You could easily just push it open with your hand and pop right open. So that's one of the safety of the PSAs. I tell the students, don't lean up against any of the doors. Those latches are not bulletproof. They do fail, have failed. I've had doors pop open well en route, just hitting a bump and they spring open. And then I also warn them that, "good to go" means you have solid handholds. And now, later in my career, it means you're already buckled in, ready to go. So there you go. little war story with a lesson. Don't lean against the doors of an ambulance. Big mistake. You'll end up getting in a lot of trouble really quick. So anyway, folks, hope you're enjoying these war stories. I know I am. I love reminiscing about this stuff, and it's been way too long. The Warfighter cigars, pretty good cigars here. Not my favorite, but they're good enough. I'm willing to share some stories around them. I'm going to finish my Deer Camp beer. Who knows? Maybe I'll bring it back, the Deer Camp stories, a little later on. Time will tell. But anyway, folks, I hope everyone's doing good out there. I hope you're all being safe. We'll see you on the next one.